I don't know. I don't know what benefit they would get out of it because, in essence, they got backlash. You know, you had so many people from different sports teams and walks of life, you know, giving this dude pure hell for what he did, and it's rightly deserved.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned something earlier. I want to kind of circle back on this one because I think this is a good point, and especially I know the ladies are probably interested in this as well. We talked about the Me Too movement, and it's both complex but yet simple in terms of what's going on. The attitudes that men have towards women 50 years ago, 25 years ago versus what's going on here the last couple of years. You know, 50 years ago, I'll give you an example. You would have an executive, male executive, and he would have a female secretary, and it would be nothing for him to flirt with her, say, you know, a lot of things with sexual innuendo or even carry on with an affair with her, touch her inappropriately, things like that. That's stuff that was considered bad workplace behavior today was considered a norm 50 years ago. Or even, you know, when we talk about things like gender roles, and I know that's going to trigger some folks when they hear that, but, you know, you expect, you know, the man expected the woman, just like women expect the man to do certain things, you know, as it relates to keeping up the house, you know, fixing the car, taking care of the yard. Men will have certain expectations for women. You got to cook, clean, take care of the kids, you know, stuff like that. Basically, you know, having her be a maid. And that was, and honestly, that was behavior that was accepted, you know, or if not accepted, at least tolerated for a very long time coming up through the day. But over the years, as women have gained more influence, more power, more independence, you know, we're seeing a lot of that kind of go away. But yet there are a lot of people who still cling to those gender roles. And because of that, I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing the Me Too movement really come to the forefront is because women are tired of, you know, they're tired of being treated a certain way. They want to be treated equally. They want, you know, certain rights. They want a certain level of respect that they haven't had before. So I definitely get it from that standpoint. But as a man in the Me Too movement, and not recognizing what's going on, how does that change your attitude towards women? Does it change the way you approach them? Does it change the way that you talk to them? Kind of give me some insight on that, man.
You definitely have to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, what could be a harmless, flirtatious statement could end you in hot water if it's in the workplace or, you know, shit, simply on the street. So,
hey, girl. Damn, your ass fat as fuck. Let me holler at you. You can't do that shit no more.
No,
man.
you can't.
You shouldn't have been doing it in the first place, but
I mean,
20 years ago.
it was fair game. You knew that was going to happen. But, yeah, in the situations like that with the Me Too movement, I think it's needed. It gives a lot of women and female empowerment to, you know, not have to worry about coming to work and putting up with shit or, you know, being just objectified as a sex object or anything like that. You know, these women are serious professionals. They're doing their thing too, and some come in, if not smarter than their male counterparts.
Right.
So with the Me Too movement, with that, you definitely have to be, you know, careful who you're talking to. Steve Harvey said it one time, and it just always stuck with me. You just have to know the type of women you're dealing with. Yeah. You can't approach Halle Berry the same way you approach LaKenna. So you have to pick the avenue and know what kind of woman you're dealing with because, now don't get me wrong, there's women out there who, you know, they're harassed all the time and, you know, it doesn't bother them. And, you know, they just think, oh, it's cool, it's a compliment, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. That's fine too, but what about that other side of the coin who don't feel that way?
Exactly. And the truth of the matter is you never know how a woman is going to react to certain things. So, you know, for men today, we have to be more conscious in terms of how we approach it. You know, we can't just sit up there and just try to holler at them or anything like that.
Pull their arm when they walk away to get their attention.
Exactly. Hey, do you remember this? This happened a couple of years ago. There was a big to-do about women saying that guys would try to get them to smile on the sidewalk out on the street. And there was a big backlash against that because women said, why do I have to smile? And I said, why should I have to smile for your benefit and things like that? And it created a whole lot of backlash prior to this Me Too movement. But what it kind of spoke to is, you know, we have to be very conscious. We have to be very careful. We can't just be in somebody's face, you know, we have to, honestly, what it comes down to is we have to know, we have to learn, if we don't already know, we have to learn how to approach women respectively. Respectfully. God damn, I cannot talk. Respectfully, but also know when to walk away. No means no, which, is very simple in terms of the concept, but yet a lot of men don't practice that. If she says no or no thank you or anything like that, keep it moving.
Take the L and keep going.
Got to. I mean, fellas, there's 3 billion women in this world, man. Don't sit up there and be stuck on stupid trying to holler at somebody who don't want to holler at you.
Yeah.
I'm like, a lot of cats, you remember Steve Urkel from Family Matters?
Yeah.
Man, nothing but sexual harassment. That dude chased Laura forever.
He did, but he got her.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
He got her.
But he had fine ass Myra, man. Myra sexually harassed that dude.
She did.
Oh, anyway. But you can't be a Steve Urkel out here, man. Once you say no or no thank you or anything like that, like you said, take that L and keep it moving.
Now, what would you relate that to today to, younger males who are listening because they might not have grown up or, get the reference of who Steve Urkel was and things like that?
Oh, man. I don't even know how to explain Steve Urkel, but do you want me to explain the show or do you want me to?
No, I mean just somebody they can relate to now who maybe they see on a character of some sort that, that they see. I'm trying to think, too, while I'm asking you.
I don't know who these little young niggas be watching now. Do they still watch SpongeBob? What the fuck they be doing?
I hope not. SpongeBob.
I don't know. Who the hell did
you? But, I mean, too, I think a lot of young males, again, and I'm going to use that very loosely, they were never taught how to be a gentleman or, be chivalrous to women, opening doors. Even with me, with the females in the family or friends or my niece, I try to set that example. So if I'm driving in the car, I'm going to open the door for you to get in, close the door when you get in the car. I'm going to open the door before you enter the building and, do things like that. That just comes second nature to me. Yeah. If we walk in outside and on the sidewalk, this is one that it irks me too. I just don't like to see a female walking closer to the side of traffic. So the man, you should be, again, this is just how I was brought up. Yeah. You're supposed to be on the outside to do that. Yeah. So just little things like that, I think, this generation is missing. They're seeing, and I hate to sound like some old ass fool and anything like that, but they're hearing these lyrics and shit like that from rap songs and stuff like that, and they try to mimic that in their $100, $1,000 lives. Yeah. Lil Wayne said it's cool to, do all this type shit and all that, but you can't do that. They're mimicking a fantasy and things like that and trying to do it in real life. Yeah. So I think that it's a point now of, these males need to be taught, how to be a gentleman, how to be respectable, and things like that. So we are missing the key opportunity with the males growing up. Like we talked about with the single parents, things like that. Mom, you can't raise your sons to be a man. But hopefully there is a granddad or uncle who can, serve as that male figure for them who grew up, in the times where, the standards were a lot different and who can reel them the right direction. So I'm just going to plant my flag on that. I think a lot of these guys are missing that roadmap of, how to be a man.
But you know what, and it's kind of funny you were talking about, chivalry and things like that. Now, I don't know what this says about society, and maybe this is the reason why things are the way that they are, but I have had women say that being chivalrous is corny. Have you heard that? The shit just kind of blew my mind. I had to ask her to repeat it. She was like, well, that's kind of corny if he doing all that. I want me a hard dude. I want me a roughneck. I want me a dude that's gonna be about that shit. They don't want
knock the shit out of her. She gonna be upset and wanted the guy who's doing that. And I'm not an advocate again on that. In fact, a man physically assaulting a woman, that's some whole shit. That's another thing that just irks the fuck out of me. Why are you gonna fight a female? But we have a lot of guys doing it these days.
Man, I'm telling you, the times are different now. But shit, hell, some of these women be ready to fight them niggas too. So.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
Like I said, shit, these are different breed of women, just like this a different breed of men now. It's the same with women. Just like you mentioned, you said the young lady, she said that that's corny or anything like that. We have some that feel that way. And again, you should know the type of female you're dealing with. So if you know that's not you, that personality, then you know that that's not the one you need to talk to. Don't try to alter your mannerisms or how you act just to get her, because all in the end is going to wash out and, she's going to see how fake as fuck you were. Yeah. So you just have to be you and do what you need to do. But, yeah, we dealing with a different type of women now, so you just have to proceed accordingly.
Absolutely. And, the thing is, everything is mixed up now. Nobody knows what they want. Nobody knows the right way to do a lot of this stuff, on either side. But as it pertains to men, I think it's up to us to set the example. It's up to us to set the standard behind it because, maybe this is going to be construed as being chauvinist, but honestly, when it comes to relationships and how to treat people, men have to set that expectation. They have to be the leaders behind that. They have to say, hey, I'm going to treat my lady like this, or she's going to be treated with respect. And we just have to take the role with it. We have to be a leader behind that. And if we see somebody who's not doing that, if we see a young man who's not acting a certain way or not acting like a man, we have to be willing to help that brother out. We have to be willing to say, hey, that's the wrong way to do it. This is the way that we need to be doing it as men. And
if they're receptive to it. Because, you got a lot of these dudes out here who, they're going to take that snot against them. Hey, fuck you, man. I don't need you, blah, 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 all that type of shit.
Fuck you, old nigga.
Yeah. you got that. And you know what I'm saying? Next thing they're doing is they're going to, pull out a strap and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And on another note, that's another thing that just pissed me off. What happened to just straight up squaring up?
These niggas don't know how to fucking fight, man. I said, do you know how many fights I got into, man, when I was coming up?
It builds character.
Hell yeah, man.
I got my ass whooped. I done dished a whole lot of ass whoopings, on that other side of the equation too. Mm-hmm. But shit, we knew what we had to do. Yep. There was an altercation. Some shit was said that nobody liked. So shit, let's figure this shit out.
Squaring up, man.
Yeah, that's it. And and I kind of had that mentality too, and I still to this day. And that's why I got to keep catching myself because I'm like, shit, they don't think like that. I'll be ready to fight. Ball fist up. They pulling something out.
But you know what? But yeah, you're right about that. That's the first thing they do. They're gonna put, and I mean, we talking about these little skinny knuckleheads, man. They couldn't even lift up 50 pounds, man. But they ready to start shooting somebody. Man. I said that's the weakest shit in the world. I said, go on and fight, square up, man. It
is, and that kind of goes in that mentality too, where you think just because you got a gun, just because you got a dick, that doesn't make you a man.
Yeah,
that makes you a male. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole certain different principles
to
operate on to being a man.
Repeat that. They need to hear it.
Yeah, no, your dick, your gun, that shit don't make you a man. Yes. It just make you a male with
goddamn right.
The things you think you need to compensate on, overcompensate on. So I mean, it's just little shit like that. Just you kind of know if you shit. We can spin this so many. I can think of so many examples of shit I see that just irk and bother me. But in the same time, too, like we talked about, we're dealing with a different breed of women, and their expectations are a lot different. Yeah. You have the women who don't want to be stay-at-home moms. They want to go out there and they want to go get it too. Mm-hmm. They want to bring in the money too. And a lot of times, you might have your woman who makes more money than you, and that goes to another point. Is it truly emasculating situation if your wife, woman, girlfriend, whatever, makes more than you?
It never should, because if you're in a true partnership with your woman, it shouldn't even matter that she's making more. As a matter of fact, as men, we want to see our women do better, because guess what? They're going to deal with the same bullshit that we're dealing with, but they're going to deal with also the fact that they are women. So same shit, especially for our black women out here, that deal with the fact that they're black, they deal with the fact that they're women. They deal with the fact that every day that they walk in, they have to prove themselves. So why wouldn't we want to see them do better? Why wouldn't we want to see them achieve? you know what? I'll tell you what. Look, if my woman was making $100,000 more than I was, shit, I'm with it.
I'm telling you.
As long as I'm not sitting on my ass and just
Not
spending the
doing
money.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm out there working and she working, we building something together. Shit, why
Building
not?
together.
That's the key. Now, if it's a competition, then guess what? That relationship isn't gonna make it any damn way because look.